Warning, this podcast was produced by two men who still think that swearing is both big and clever. As a result, it contains quite a lot of it. Therefore, this podcast is not suitable for children, unless they're really fucking cool children.
Hey all, Krister here with the intro for this week, as Dave is out somewhere in Brighton hosting a quiz, which is a new thing for him. Hope it's going well. But I'm just here to tell you about this week's podcast. We are back kind of in pop territory this week, after a few episodes where we've been firmly ensconced in kind of rock and guitar stuff. This week we're looking at Simply Red's Stars album, so definitely pop, like I say. And if you've listened to any of the recent episodes, you probably have gathered that this is one we were pretty nervous about doing. We weren't looking forward to this one. Probably some preconceptions of Simply Red. Definitely some preconceptions of some of the singles off this that we remember. So yeah, we weren't too keen. But who knows, maybe it'll all get turned around and we'll realise there's actually something worthwhile in here. You'll have to find out. Big thank you, by the way, to everyone who has listened recently and spread the word and all that sort of stuff. We have been kind of top 5 in the UK Apple podcast chart in our category all week, which is just amazing. We are so pleased. Thank you again, everybody. I hope you're enjoying these recent ones as much as we are doing them. There's only a few left, actually, of 1991, so we're getting towards the end, and we'll probably be looking at some kind of end-of-year best-of charts like we did for 1990. So, yeah, we've got to start thinking about what else we need to put onto those lists. But that's enough from me anyway. Look, yeah, we better get into this Simply Red album. I hope you enjoy listening. Please do get in contact with any comments and feedback via the various social media. And once again, yeah, keep spreading the word. Big love to everyone. Cheers.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. My name is Dave Fensom.
I'm Krister Greer.
We're not with Waffles Dog this week because he's at the vet.
Yes, he's getting his final checkup so his balls have successfully been taken off or something.
Yeah, just to make sure they're definitely gone.
Definitely gone.
Yeah.
You can never be sure.
No, they come back sometimes.
Wasn't that a Stephen King story?
Sometimes they come back. Sometimes they really come back. Sometimes they come back again. Sometimes they don't come back. You think they haven't come back anyway, but then they're back. They're back. They're just in your fucking cupboard.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. Which episode is this,
Right, this is number 17.
17?
Series 2, episode 17.
That's crazy, man. We're hammering through these.
We really are, and we are getting towards the end of the year as well, 1991. We are looking at the week of October 6th to... Well, it's actually 2 weeks, this one. October 6th to the 19th. For 2 weeks... At this point, Simply Red Stars was number 1.
Also, let's say say hello to all of our new listeners. I mean, our numbers have been going up crazily over the last few weeks.
Yeah, we've had a nice little spike, actually.
So, yeah, I don't know whether it's all going to disappear now that this kind of rock music is going. We've just had loads of people that think this is going to be about rock music. But today we are going to talk about Simply Red.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a bit of a difference from, like you say, Metallica, Nirvana, Bryan Adams.
Yeah.
I mean, there's an odd one out there anyway, but this is definitely the other side of the coin.
Did you have any opinions on Simply Red back in 1991?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I did, and I'm pretty sure I was very much against Simply Red on principle.
Oh, man, I mean, I was, man. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, in 1991, Simply Red, this album was very big. It was everywhere.
Oh, it was
right?
huge.
And it was very big with people that at that time, age 16, I was fairly sure were the enemy.
Sure.
In my mind, Simply Red, particularly this album, was always the voice of the enemy, right?
Okay, this was the absolute, apocalypse of bland or whatever.
But I'll be honest with you, I've never heard this album, I don't think.
No.
Apart from, I think my next door neighbour's mum had this. It was very much an album that your next door neighbour's mum had.
Oh, God, yeah. This is, targeted very directly at mums.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this is almost quintessentially the kind of album that this podcast is set up to listen to, really, isn't it?
Well, sure, it was a massive, massive pop album. And just in terms of where I was on Simply Red, I remember in the mid to late 80s, whenever I was buying the Now albums and the Hits albums, there was a couple of songs of theirs I really liked. Their cover of Every Time I Say Goodbye, I really enjoyed.
Okay. Hold him back the ears.
Hold him back the ears. I liked that. Yeah.
Did you used to do the dance where you held back your ears and said, "Hold him back the ears"?
I didn't. That's a shame.
That was a junior school favourite of mine.
I see.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a joke about Mick Hucknall fucking a rabbit and he has to hold back the ears.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
I mean, are you sure it's a joke?
Well, a possibly unsubstantiated rumour.
Yeah, I mean, you've mentioned Mick Hucknall there.
Yes.
And I think Mick Hucknall was the reason that I really took against them. I saw him as the poster boy of the shiny, disingenuous kind of soul boy.
Okay.
Basically, the diamond-toothed kind of pussy hound. And in my mind, where albums like Guns N' Roses were really telling the truth, this guy, he was adding nothing to the equation, right?
Okay.
And obviously that was the way my 16-year-old mind worked. So, I'm interested to go back into this for sure.
Sure. And, I think time has only really reinforced that image of Mick Hucknall as a bit of a dickhead.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
All the stories you hear, the press stories, are about him being a twat.
Yeah.
And so I have never needed to completely revisit my impression of him. I don't think I really associated him with my dislike of Simply Red as much, maybe as yourself, but I just thought, oh, well, that's a big pop band. I'm not interested. I'm deliberately not interested. I'm spurning it. And because it's so big and it's keeping other stuff I like out of the charts or, off the number one spot or this sort of thing, I'm like, oh, fuck you then.
Yeah.
Fuck you. It's up yours, big business, that sort of shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's the man.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of the underground rock that I like.
No, precisely.
Yeah, but obviously, over the years, I started off very much as a pop music fan, and over the years, I've become far more of a pop music fan again.
I've mellowed out so much,
absolutely.
And the real vitriol I had when I was 16, which was directed at whatever took my whim that fucking week, I don't have that anymore as much as I did, and I will happily let more in than I used to,
Absolutely. Now, we've had an email from a regular listener, Martin Young. And
yes, Martin.
I think this is a super well-measured email, and I think this actually hits the tone really nicely. So I won't read all of it because he mentions a couple of songs, but he says, "Hi guys, really looking forward to this episode, not necessarily because it's the best album of all time, because it's definitely not, but for me it's a perfect example of the real 90s and what your pod is about. General consensus is 90s goes baggy, grunge, Britpop, clubland, dance, boy band, girl band, pop, but it's actually albums like this that were really popular and what people were listening to en masse. Something that's kind of been conveniently airbrushed out of history in favour of cool revisionism." And I think that is true, because this is what the heartland of England was listening to. This is
totally.
They were selling out arenas. This was the first album to be the number one selling album in 2 consecutive years in the UK.
Since Simon and Garfunkel in the 70s.
Oh, sorry, since Simon and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
So I did read that. I didn't
but you're
know
absolutely
that.
right. In 1991 and this was released at the end of 91.
Yeah.
And became the best-selling album of 1991.
Yeah.
Right? So it fucking took off like an absolute
You
torpedo.
never underestimate Christmas, mate.
Nah, that's true.
I mean, as the review in, I think it was The Guardian said at the time, at least now you've got a...
was a Melody Maker one.
Was it a Melody Maker?
Yeah.
At least now you've got a present for your nan.
Exactly, yeah. But for it to do so huge business in 91 and then continue to do as huge business in 92, whenever there's a lot of other stuff obviously fighting for that spot, that is impressive. That is massive sales.
Absolutely.
It's now 12 times platinum. It's sold nearly 3.5 million in the UK alone, and 9 million worldwide.
Wow.
Which makes it places it at the minute as currently the 15th best-selling album ever in the UK. Just between Adele and Shania Twain.
And what a place to be.
Well, quite. It's the 15th best-selling album ever in the UK.
There you go.
It's fucking huge business.
Absolute monolith of a record.
Indeed. And that is one thing I do remember, and probably one of the things that annoyed me at the time was just it wouldn't go away.
Yeah.
It just stayed and stayed and stayed. And there are 5 singles released off this, so it was a prolonged album campaign. It went on and on and on, and it's like, fucking hell, still more Simply Red. That was the kind of feeling I got.
Well, that's it. I'd be watching MTV, and kind of Nirvana would be on, and then Jeremy by Pearl Jam would come on, and then I'd have to look at Mick Hucknall's face for 5 minutes, and it would ruin my day. Right, but that said, I want to be super, super clear on this.
Yep.
Whilst I'm going in with some preconceptions, I'm going in not expecting to like this very much. That's my truth. But I'm going into it to try and... That's my truth. That's the truth. Fucking hell, that's my truth. What a cunt.
Amazing.
But, I'm going in... I want to go into this with an open mind as much as possible. Okay?
Which, that's fair, absolutely. But you can't switch off those thoughts that you've had for 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. And we had an email from someone recently who suggested that perhaps we had a bit of genre bias.
Absolutely true.
That is absolutely true. And I think we want to be as upfront as we possibly can about that. And kind of I'm a massive soul and funk fan, but I go 60s, 70s soul and funk, and some of the kind of the 90s R&B and stuff is all a bit histrionic. It didn't really do it for me as much, but we'll see more of that as we go.
Yeah, that's going to keep on going through the 90s as we go through.
The point of this is reevaluation, and I think if some of this stuff gets through the filter of that, then it sounds testament to what we're looking for is good pop songs. We're not looking for we talked about Nirvana, and it was we talked about it in its underground glory and whatever, but the thing that came out to us most was the poppy elements of it.
Yeah, just like the songs, right?
Yeah, that's what we're looking for in here. Good pop songs, essentially.
I think that's a fair take on it, is that we don't want to dislike anything. We talked about this in season 1 whenever we were looking at things like Phil Collins and Elton John and those huge pop stars in that way. We don't want to go, oh fuck, this is awful. We hope that there's something on there. We'll go, that's why we're reevaluating. We're going back and visiting in case we missed it the first time. I'm hoping, when I'm going into this, I'm hoping that maybe I'll be very pleasantly surprised. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's hope we can do that.
In terms of the album itself, this was their 4th album as a band. They formed in about 83, 84 out of a different band. They broke through in 85, 86 and had, pretty big success from the start. But this was the one that really skyrocketed them, I'd say. The lineup was different to the one they started with, because people had started leaving the band, and it was around this time in interviews that Mick Hucknall was actually quoted as saying that essentially Simply Red is kind of a solo project for him these days.
Right, okay.
He was just getting other people in. There were still some people there who were from the start, but it was starting to be a rotating musicianship in there. The keyboardist Tim Kellett, he left after this album and went on to form the dance act Olive. Remember them? It did You're Not Alone?
No, I don't remember them at all.
No, I bet you'd remember.
I probably remember the song, but
yeah, you'd remember that.
How does the song go?
Well, I'm just going to sing You're Not Alone, and you'll go, You're Not Alone. I can't remember the rest of the chorus.
Fair enough, that's fine.
I'll tell you what, I'll drop it in the edit.
Okay.
At that bit, and you'll go, oh yeah, that one. The other keyboardist, who was a guy called Fritz McIntyre, he left the band in 1995, moved to Canada, released a solo album of Christian worship music called First Fruits, and is now the musical director of a large Florida church. So that's what he went on to do after Simply Red. And I didn't know this as well. I was looking up some of their other people who were in the band, and on their 1987-88 world tour, they had Aziz Ibrahim on guitar, who was the guitarist who replaced John Squire in Stone Roses.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
He played live with Simply Red. I did not know that.
Yeah, I mean, do you know what? I think I did.
Really?
Because didn't they have like Simply Red's drummer as well?
Stone Roses?
They had. I remember something about that at the time. There being this is a guy that's done this stuff. I kind of vaguely remember it because I remember that because that was who played with them when they played that Reading Festival where they got super slated for Ian Brown's voice.
That's the one. Yeah, that was him on guitar. But yeah, I just obviously it's the Manchester connection. He was a guitarist on the Manchester scene, and there was a lot of other Manchester musicians went through the ranks of Simply Red, but I did not know. Well, it's one of those things. I bet you I did know at the time, but I'd totally forgotten because it cannot have escaped my notice reading the NMA and Melody Maker every week that the guitarist in the Stone Roses used to be in Simply Red. That would have been a thing I knew.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fairly sure I did know it at some point, but yeah,
Right.
Mate, there's so much fucking trivia in our heads. You know what I mean?
True.
We're not what we were, my friend.
Pops in and out. The album is, in various reviews, it's said to be, this is kind of where Simply Red started using more hip-hop influenced beats on some of their tracks rather than the soul stuff they had been doing. Some of it is partly down to the drummer who was joined them for this album, was a guy called Gota, a Japanese drummer, who was also kind of a producer and programmer, and therefore was doing more kind of electronic beat stuff for them. He had previously worked with Soul to Soul and Seal and Sinead O'Connor, so we've got callbacks to 3 other artists that we've done.
I mean, it wasn't the story, I think I read this, it wasn't the story that they got him on to do production and they didn't know he was a drummer.
Yeah.
And it was through seeing him jamming in the studio that he ended up becoming a full-time member of the band.
Absolutely, and stayed there for a good while.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. And he is also apparently credited as the groove activator on Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah, someone had to activate the groove.
We're back in Alita Adams territory here, aren't we?
We really are. He also apparently worked with Depeche Mode on Ultra. He did a lot of the drum programming on that.
Ultra is literally the most underrated Depeche Mode record.
Well, there you go. So he was doing that. Like you said, in the Melody Maker, they said a review at the time was, within his strictly defined oeuvre, which is sleek airbrushed music best described as soulette, Hucknall's voice is miles ahead of the competition, nor on an objective level can stars be faulted, because it's a pleasant album. The sleeve is pretty, and now at least you've got a Christmas present for Gran.
The thing is, though, was, like soulette, is that like a moist towelette?
Nice. I can imagine for your arsehole, presumably.
Yeah, I mean, there's no arseholes involved in Simply Red, clearly. So
the more kind of mainstream press, they did praise it more than obviously Melody Maker are going to. They said it was a more pop sound than that kind of white boy soul that they had been doing in the 80s, and they figured it kind of worked for them better than what they had been doing, and obviously the public agreed because it sold 1 billion copies.
Yeah, absolutely, mate, absolutely. Okay.
The final line of their Wikipedia, though, and I do enjoy this because it goes through, this is whatever reviews, this is the praise, this is the downside, and the final line just says, the album was voted the second worst record ever made in a 1998 Melody Maker poll.
Nice. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Also, an album given away by the Daily Mail.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it one of those?
In 2006, I think it was the first one. They gave away to every cunt in the country.
Wow. God, that is such a good fit.
Yeah. I don't think that counts in its overall sales, but yeah.
Right, sure. No, I think whenever Prince did that, he was surprised he didn't get number 1 out of it, didn't he?
Right, yeah, something
one
like
of those
that,
ones.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's kind of all I've got for background on this, I think. Might as well have a look at the cover.
We've got
my CD here.
Yes, we do.
Bought for £1.10, maybe?
You were done. No, Look, we've got a very artsy kind of picture. Mick Hucknall is sat in his kimono or whatever it is. Now, there's a story about this. Have you seen this story?
I have indeed.
And yeah, so he's sat like looking over it kind of almost looks like a savannah sky.
Yeah, I think it's probably supposed to be a desert scape or something like that. But it's nighttime and the sky is the main bit in the background.
And there's a shooting star which is kind of travelling upwards.
Mm-hmm.
And he is sat in a look that I would call contemplative.
Holding his hands up to his head, almost not quite in prayer, but in definite meditation possible.
I mean, I would describe that as the kind of look that you go for if you're trying to look meaningful. That's an Instagram model post 20 years ahead of its time.
Oh, yeah. No, that's one where you take 50 shots of very, very similar poses, and that's the one that looks most... least objectionable.
Yeah, there's a nice little kind of halo around his auburn locks, creating that kind of light affair.
The ginger.
I mean, I don't like the album cover very much.
No, I mean, I think it's quite dull.
What it looks like is it's the kind of art you're going to find in a hotel. It's very inoffensive.
Oh yeah, okay.
I mean, in terms of what it is, it's a very effective album for a broad audience, cover for a broad audience.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that it's not something that I particularly enjoy, but I think it's probably a very effective album cover for the album that it is.
Sure. Well, if you're aiming at the time, 30-somethings who aren't into anything edgy at all.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a safe pair of hands you're falling into right there.
And they made it even safer, didn't they? this album cover because originally,
Oh yes, Yes.
Mick insisted because this is where did he got this cape thing from?
it's some sort of a Native American painted cloak that he bought in Spain, apparently.
Yes, okay, wonderful.
He wanted to show it off.
Yeah, I mean, of course you would. If you bought yourself a Native American cape from Spain, you'd want to show it off, wouldn't you? Do you reckon he got a free dream catcher with it?
Definitely, mate.
And is he still got dreadlocks at this point?
Not quite. I mean, it's unkempt,
right?
But I don't know if you can strictly call it dreadlocks. It's more just heavy curls.
I did a podcast recording last night in London with the ADHD and guys.
Yes.
They wanted to talk to me about being a comedian. And one of them, and I haven't researched it since, I've just remembered it's come back to me, but apparently the reason he had to cut his dreadlocks off was because someone was sick on them and he couldn't get the smell out.
Oh, brilliant.
How good is that? How good is that?
To be honest, from my experience of, white man dreadlocks, I would have thought vomit would improve the smell.
Yeah, well, that is the case. Shout out to our friend Stevie.
But in terms of the picture, like you're saying.
Yeah, so originally he was adamant that it was just going to be the only thing he was going to be wearing was this item. I mean, pants weren't mentioned. Let's hope he had pants on. Maybe just doesn't. I reckon he's the kind of guy that doesn't wear pants.
He could be a commando man.
Yeah, I reckon it's a commando man. But apparently the record company did not like that. They thought it would be off-putting. So the artist had to do a composite, had to take a photo of her assistant's legs in jeans and composite those on top.
Yeah, because the original one had him bare-legged and just full-on, pasty white ginger skin on show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Translucent.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, so that's the album cover.
Yeah.
Effective, not for me, not offensive.
Not offensive at all. It's it's a nice shade of blue.
Yeah.
But one thing I do think
it's a nice shade of blue. That's brilliant.
Yeah, that's probably the other title of this album.
Yeah.
One thing I do think that this cover shows is how much it was a solo project for Mick Hucknall, because none of the rest of the band are on it. He's the only focus. He's the one that's decided, I want to be in my special Spanish American Indian poncho. It's all about him. And, the other side of this CD booklet is a close-up of his face. And while there are photos of the rest of the band inside, if you were just looking at the front and the back, it's just Mick Hucknall.
Yeah, fuck that.
Well, indeed, but it shows to me that Simply Red and Mick Hucknall at this point are interchangeable. When you talk about one, you're talking about the other.
Yeah, exactly. He is Simply Red, isn't he?
Precisely, yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, yeah, Waffles has now rejoined us. He's back from the vet. He's been given a clean bill of health.
Good man.
You may hear a little bit of him padding around on the floor. I apologise for that. He will settle in a minute. Normally we've got him settled before we've started, but...
it's all very exciting.
Something's got him started.
Hey!
Okay, right. So we've done that. We've done that. Shall we crack into the first
Might
song?
as well, let's do this. Right.
So the first track is called "Something Got Me Started."
Indeed, track one. And before this starts, the very first bit in this intro, I think it's hilarious.
Oh, I do as well.
It's amazing. So yeah, make sure you're listening to this, people. Amazing. Absolutely.
I mean, we're off to a bad start, aren't we?
Oh, mate, that cracks me up.
Totally the opposite of the tone of this tune as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Show me.
Okay, but look, the tune itself.
Yeah.
It says hip hop, but this to me is like more of a kind of a funky house kind of soul swing.
Well, sure. Yeah. I must admit that I thought, in my head, this was off a previous album. I didn't think this was the 1991 Simply Red.
Yeah.
I thought this was like their 88 stuff.
Yeah.
Because obviously I know this song. I remember this song. But I had totally mistimed it in my head.
Now, I'll be honest with you. I put this song on, listened to it in my car probably about a week ago.
Yeah.
And I went, this is a really good pop song.
I fucking love this song.
This is a really good song.
Yeah. I have been replaying this over and over in my room. Yeah.
Yeah.
This little break, that piano break.
Yeah.
Fucking blinding.
Great, man.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. It's just, it's a good time, man. It's a, for all your hatred of Mick Hucknall, you can't take away from the fact that the boy can hold a tune.
Oh, he can sing. That is absolutely 100% true.
And this vocal itself, like I've had criticisms of some of the other soul stuff we've done about dispassionate delivery. That was my main problem with some
Christians and stuff like that. Yeah,
some of the Oleta Adam stuff as well.
Yeah.
But this is a passionately delivered. It's a really, really solid pop tune. You got that big house piano in there. Like particularly, I mean, I've marked down particularly in the outro. The outro,
goes for it.
Really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're going to mention this, but we get our old pal, the sax solo comes back.
Oh, so happy. Yeah.
So happy when that comes
exactly.
back.
And it's just after like the second chorus or whatever, when it's done that little piano break that I'm into, and then it just bangs into a sax solo. Yeah. It's amazing.
And you got that deeper backing vocals where give it all up to you.
Yes, I would.
Yes,
so
good.
That is that's the keyboardist who went on to be a Christian musician in America.
I mean, that sounds like he's got the voice for the Christianity.
Indeed, he's definitely, you can see the soul gospel influence there.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me, to me, this is the sound of Sunday night local radio.
Sure.
Chiltern FM used to have Cuddle on the Couch.
Oh, right, yeah. What was the one in Belfast?
Grope on the Sofa.
Cool Goes Quiet. That's Cool FM. Cool Goes Quiet.
Cool Goes Quiet.
Yeah.
This is the sound of losing your virginity to the back of someone's Vauxhall Nova.
Right,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
It is, right? That's what this is. But, right, I listened to this and I went, I don't see what my problem was with this song, because this is a good fucking song.
This is a terrific song.
Yeah.
Honestly is.
Great
and
song.
Maybe the reason I wanted to think it was before Stars was because I didn't want to associate it with my image of this album. I don't know. But as soon as this came on, I was like, fuck, I have missed out on 30 years of not hearing this.
I turned this up.
Yeah, this is cracking.
I think this is a great song.
I do enjoy, I'm sure you did as well, at about 2 minutes, just after 2 minutes, let's play a bit of this. Right, so we're at the end of the sax solo. And then we've got a woman.
I mean, the main caveat on enjoying anything in this record, right? I'm going to say this up front and early. This won't be the last time I say this, but the main caveat of enjoying anything on this thing is when he's talking about sex, you have to divorce the fact that it's Mick Hucknall.
I know.
It has to be a voice.
You don't want to think about
if
it.
you think about Mick Hucknall having sex, then it's all over. Which is the opposite thing that if I thought about Mick Hucknall while I was having sex, then it would go on forever. In fact, I think, like that Mick Hucknall is going to become my kind of keeping the wolf from the doors kind of.
I see, your new handbrake.
Things the handbrake. I fucking forgot about the handbrake. Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. But also, and I mean, the spoken word bits in a few of these songs are just stupid and hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, the fact that he's decided it would be a good idea to do things like go, on a song and put that on a record shows how much he thinks of himself as a sex symbol.
Yeah.
But he does have that story, and I'm actually inclined to believe it. He reckons that between 1985 and 97, he fucked 3,000 women. Yeah,
I think he recently did a bit of a revisionism on that. I think
did he?
Yeah, I think something showed up in my flip book recently about Mick Hucknall for God knows what reason.
Saying that that was an unreasonable number? Or...
I think he was just saying he didn't really count.
But he said in the bit that was justifying the 3,000 number that he reckoned it was 3 women a day.
I mean, that's nuts, isn't it?
But then the quote that he had with it, when I had the fame, it went crazy. I would sleep with about 3 women a day, every day. I never said no. This was what I wanted from being a pop star. I was living the dream, and my only regret is that I hurt some really good girls.
Okay, this is an article from 2010, The Guardian. Mick Hucknall apologises to thousands of women he slept with.
Yeah, well, it's never too late.
I regret the philandering, he says. In fact, can I issue a public apology through The Guardian? They know who they are, and I'm truly sorry. Fucking just pay for the penicillin, mate. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, actually, I should probably take this opportunity to publicly apologise to anyone I slept with over the years. I'm really sorry. That was my fault.
Apologies accepted. Listen to this line. I wanted love from every single woman on the planet because I didn't have my mother's love. It was an addiction that took from my darker period from 1996 to 2001 when I really came close to the gutter. I was more into drinking than seducing, ultimately, he said. He got bored with his sexual adventuring as I never really got the emotional contact that I craved. There you go. Fucking hell.
Yeah, whatever. I wonder when he was in the gutter, was he looking at the stars?
Fuck me.
There you go. I will say another thing about this song, though, right? I did watch the videos when applicable on this one, because this was their first single off the album as well. This was released in September 91, just before the album came out. It got to number 11, so it was a decent hit for them. Mm-hmm. And therefore there is a video. And the video is fucking incredible. I'm going to put it up on the social medias and all this sort of stuff, because I can't remember the last time I saw a man dancing so badly and looking so happy with himself. There are various bits of the video where he's dancing. Sometimes he's doing it in like a silhouette profile against just a solid colour background. Sometimes he's doing it with a sexy woman. Sometimes he's in the corner of a room and he's got this kind of, open to the chest shirt on with a star medallion. Yeah. And all of the dancing is spectacularly bad. Yeah. It's beautiful. I implore you, whenever you've listened to this podcast, just go and have a wee look at the Something Got Me Started video. It's genius. Very
wonderful
happy.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Wonderful stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, that's a surprising hit from both of us.
Mate, going in, I was like, fuck, okay. Mm-hmm. I may be very wrong. Mm-hmm. So yeah, track 1, absolutely blinding.
Well, track 2's Stars. Track 2's the album title. I'm fairly sure I know where I am on this one going into it.
Yeah, no, you remember this. So Stars. And this was the second single. Mm-hmm. It was released quite soon after, in November 1991, and this got to number 8.
Yeah.
So this was a bigger hit. This was the biggest hit off the album, in fact.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's smooth as you like, isn't it? There's no edge to it at all, right?
No.
But again, this vocal is incredibly well delivered.
Yeah.
It is, and look, it's got a big fucking pop hook coming in the chorus.
The chorus is huge. Yeah.
And again, I was there going, this isn't my sound. But I'd be lying if I said I was unaffected by this song. It's just a big... I mean, it's fucking schmaltz. It's absolute schmaltz.
I've written the exact same word in my notes. Yeah. It is schmaltz to the nth degree.
Yeah. But...
And when you look at the lyrics, it's bog standard love song stuff.
Yeah. I mean, but I can't criticise this song.
Yeah.
I can't criticise this song. This is a good song.
Yeah, and it shows you can't criticise it because you can remember it 30 years on. This comes on, I'm like, oh, I remember the chorus. Yeah. Straight away.
Yeah.
It's got its hooks in you from that time.
And, I remember this as being an incredibly bland song. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it is. I think there's enough flourish in it and enough stuff and there's enough detail in it that suggests to me that people really cared about putting this together. And there's a lot of there's a lot of little kind of bits of nuance and thing like that. It's just a well-crafted, well-put-together song.
It's spectacularly produced. Really,
without a doubt.
It's incredibly produced.
I think you can say that about all this album.
For sure. Yeah, true. I mean, the amount of money they must have spent on it, you're not going to come away with a shoddy production. Mm-hmm. But I think this is a little bit too schmaltzy for me to get excited about.
I'm not excited about it.
But I can absolutely see this is a very, very good pop song. And I can understand why it was so big.
Yeah.
And if you're selling the album off the back of this, I suspect the album sold more off the back of this than it did off Something Got Me Started, because this is radio friendly all over the place. Mm-hmm. I reckon that, as a Kickstarter for album sales, that's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I heard this song everywhere at the time. Yeah. But going back to it, don't feel the same way about it as I do about Bryan Adams. Don't feel the same way I feel about Knocking on Heaven's Door. Both the songs which I preferred at the time. I think, trying to be, open-minded and fair, this is a good song.
Yeah, I can't fault it.
If we're talking about good pop songs, it's a good fucking pop song.
Yes, and I think it's the chorus more than anything that really lifts it up. I can see why it was a massive hit, just because it's so well put together that brings you in up that crescendo into the chorus.
Yeah, but it's got that really nice kind of little keyboard touch on the interlude as well.
I wasn't keen on that. I wasn't keen on that.
See, I really like that.
Yeah,
I really, really like that.
I see. Okay, no, I kind of didn't like the instrumentation bit on this. Okay. I like his vocals, but not so much the actual tune.
No, see, I really like that key sound.
Okay,
I think it's really good.
The video for this was it's basically him walking through a desert in his terrible clothing.
Was this the one with all the horrible close-up shots where he looks like he's fucking vampiring a woman?
I don't remember that.
Okay, I might be wrong.
There are lots of close-up shots of just his face, and it's the first time I ever remember seeing the tooth jewellery
Yeah.
I'm going, is there something there? Is that supposed to be there?
You prick.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, not much on the video on this one, but yeah, it is a decent tune.
Fair enough.
And as much as it pains me to say it, because that's not cool.
Yeah, that's a grudging. I mean, that's more grudging than when I admitted to liking some of the Chris Rea stuff.
Right, sure.
Okay,
Bugger.
let's have a look at track 3 then.
Track 3.
Thrill Me.
I'll try. This one was the 4th single.
Right.
Only got to number 33.
I mean, this one wears its main influence completely on its sleeve, doesn't it?
What are you thinking?
What? I mean, wake up, let's not break up. Look, man, dude thinks he's Barry White in this.
Yeah, it really is.
This is a slow funk, straight up Barry White. This is, I tell you what, this was the 90s. This is the chocolate body paint song. Remember there was the chocolate body paint craze?
Dude. Edible knickers.
Yeah, it's comically sexy.
Sure. Yeah. No, and again, this is the image that Mick Hucknall in his own head has of himself.
I mean, I would not be able to have sex to this song.
No.
I couldn't keep a straight face.
No. I don't know if I would want to have sex with anyone else who'd be okay with this being on in the same room.
Oh, exactly that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whether there's a kind of a symbol pattern, and for some reason I find that particularly funny.
Oh, right.
Like it's just everything about this is just turned up to 11. It's like,
on the sex scale.
We're gonna put on some incense, lady.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, this is definitely, if you've got a bedroom playlist in 1991, this is there.
I mean, I can't lie, I kind of enjoy this. I'm not sure I enjoy it for the right reasons.
Okay, sure.
I find it funny.
Yeah, well, indeed. I think, and again, there's some more very cringy spoken word stuff from Hucknall in here.
Yeah.
And he should not try to be sexy.
No,
in that way. You're not Barry White. Don't be doing this.
I mean,
not
Barry White's not a sexy man, but he kind of pulls it off with that voice. But
yeah.
I mean, my final note on this song here is the thought of Mick Hucknall fucking makes me feel physically sick.
That's only fair.
And I think that's fair enough.
Absolutely, yeah. But in terms of the tune, I think it's got a decent wee drum beat and the bass line is nice. It is that kind of low strong funk stuff that they're going for. It's not. I don't think this is a great tune. I think this is a passable album track.
Yeah.
And I see what they're going for, and I think it's ridiculous that they are going for it.
Yeah.
But if you took just the drums and the bass on there, that's a nice little.
Yeah, I mean,
sample.
I say they pull off what they're trying to achieve here. I don't think it's a single, absolutely not a single.
No.
I don't understand that. That's a late single trying to cash in on, okay, what have we got left that we can release?
Well, indeed, there are only 10 songs on this album.
Yeah. I mean, this can't have done anything in the charts, surely. 33, yeah.
So,
that's about 7 places too high for it.
Sure, yeah. But not awful. Not an awful song. I don't think it's bland or dull or bleh. I do think it's got something there, but I don't think it's what I want. You know what I mean?
But in terms of the album so far, we're 3 tracks in.
Yeah.
And
I've not been angry.
I'm grudgingly for like, at the minute 16-year-old Dave is furious with me and what I've become. I mean, he hates me. He hates everything I've become.
Yeah.
All the choices I've made are wrong. How can I be saying this? But you know what? This is a much more solid start to this record than I expected.
Totally. And this one's got another sax solo in it. So 2 out of 3 songs, sax solo.
Yeah, exactly.
That's an impressive ratio so
bringing
far.
Saxy back.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Lovely stuff then. Right, have we got anything else to add to this?
No, I think that's all good for me on track 3 there.
Okay, well, shall we take a quick break and go and have a look at the albums?
The albums, indeed. Albums this week. Okay, album-wise, the week that I'm looking at on this one is October the 13th to the 19th, which is actually the second week of this spate of them being number 1.
Mm-hmm.
They were number 1 for 2 weeks. We should point out, though, that this album was number 1 for 12 weeks overall.
Yeah.
It was just broken up into different bits. On release, it was 2 weeks at number 1.
Yeah.
It then went back to number 1 in January, February 92 for 5 weeks. And then another 3 weeks at the end of February, March 92. So this kept on selling, like we've said, 12 weeks in total at number 1, which is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, this happened a long way. I mean, I asked on Twitter, I asked for thoughts on this record. Surprisingly, quite a few of our people that came back quite quickly with the rock stuff didn't mention anything at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But, I had a couple of surprising ones, actually. our friend Ellie.
Yes.
Basically, she came back. She said it was used in the film Jack and Sarah, which was a gateway drug for my love of Richard E. Grant.
Oh, right. I don't even remember that film.
I don't remember that film either. I mean, I think the thing that surprised me most is our friend Neil at Sausages.
Oh, I saw that one.
Fuck, I bought and I loved this.
Yeah.
And I did not see that coming.
Not from Neil, not
from Neil. I mean, that's the guy that got me into a helmet. Do you know what I mean? And as always, Miss Disorderly, actually, I owe Miss Disorderly a quick amendment. She messaged me to make it very clear that she has a very specific period of the cult that she enjoys.
Yeah, we trying to tar her with a brush where she was enjoying whatever album was released in 1991.
Yeah. She wants to make it very, very clear. There's a very defined, credible period of the cult that she enjoys, and the rest is broadly bobbins.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, Lee. We didn't mean to stain you with our shit, really.
Yeah.
Horrible expression. But she also messaged, she said, I think this is one of the first Britannia Music Club CDs my mum got, along with the Rolling Stones best of, and that is classic Britannia Music Club.
That is. You know, whenever you see the Britannia Music Club ads, and they've got probably 50 album covers to try and draw you in, Stars would have been one of the main ones.
Always that and Tubular Bells too.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, we got Something Got Me Started. She doesn't mind, but it's no Men and Women.
Oh, that was a previous album.
Yeah.
Men and Women. Okay, right. I don't know that album
at all. I do not either.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. But so in terms of where we are in the week that we're looking at anyway, the top 10 albums, number 10 is Mark Bolan T-Rex Ultimate Collection. 9 is the best of Hall & Oates. I don't know if they released a new single or something around that time. Couldn't tell you. Number 8, though, Public Enemy, Apocalypse 91, The Enemy Strikes Black.
Ooh, wow.
Number 8, and I'm actually surprised that it got to number 8.
I don't think I am. No? Public Enemy, were a phenomenon at that point.
I don't know. I don't think they were a UK top 10 albums, man.
They were. I think at that point, if you're selling out Brixton Academy on multiple dates, then you're a week 1 top 10.
Well, yeah, no, that is true. We won't see this again in the top 10. It dropped pretty solidly straight away. But yeah, that's a fucking brilliant. And you and I have talked about this album. We're both massive Public Enemy fans.
Yeah.
I think this is still one of their classic albums. I think this is a brilliant album.
And I haven't listened to this album for a very long time. Okay, for me, this was the beginning of the end of the classic stuff. Okay, has got probably my all-time favourite Public Enemy track on it,
which is
the Pete Rock remix of Shut 'Em Down.
Yeah, amazing.
Absolutely fucking fantastic, man. That first verse, that Chuck D verse was like, I testified, my mama cried, black people died when the other man lied.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, that is a stormer.
I absolutely love it. I would, if we weren't doing so many specials at the minute, I would be all in favour of doing a re-evaluation of this. And maybe at some point we'll go back and we'll do that.
Well, indeed. Or, we talked about the possibility of, at the end of the year, doing a kind of hip-hop in 91 roundup.
Yeah, I think that's, you guys, give us a shout if you think that's a good idea. To be honest with you, we'll probably do it anyway.
Yeah, because there's so much stuff that came through this year, 91.
I think, last year we did a best of overall, and I think this year we might want to deal with the hip-hop separately, because there's a lot of it,
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I love that album, and I remember it coming out and me being very excited, and I was straight into it, straight away. I don't think I had it as an actual copy, as one of my own, for years afterwards, but my mate taped me this on week of release, and I listened to it over and over and over. Absolutely love it. Number 7, Dire Straits, On Every Street. Number 6, Salt and Pepper's Greatest Hits.
Nice.
Which seems a little soon for a Salt and Pepper's Greatest Hits. They only started getting traction in about 88.
Yeah, true. But, bang them out, mate. Get the record.
True. Number 5, Paul Young Singles Collections. We've had a lot of fucking best of so far. You can tell it's coming up to the Christmas period. Number 4, Prince, Diamonds and Pearls.
Oh, I can't believe this wasn't number 1.
In at 4? No, never was.
One of my favourite Prince records.
Yeah.
I was having a conversation with Cliff at the Caroline about this. I don't think it's one of his favourite records, but I love this album.
He's got some very peculiar choices for favourite Prince tracks, so I can't imagine anything that was popular.
But fucking big up to Cliff, man. He knows his own mind. I love it.
Oh, fucking absolutely. Number 3, Bryan Adams, Waking Up the Neighbours. Number 2 is Tina Turner's Simply the Best, another best of. So yeah, lots of fucking greatest hits going on there.
Cool. So as you've been reading those out, I've just been flicking through the Twitter again, by the way, and you mentioned the joke about molesting a rabbit. I should mention that Phil Guthrie has been in contact with us to mention the molesting a rabbit joke. Yeah,
I know Phil Guthrie very well. He seems like the type that would enjoy that joke.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. And there was something else here that somebody mentioned. Oh yeah, John in Leeds. We asked what his opinions on this record were. Mm-hmm. He said, "No chance. I will tell you off the record what I think, though." So
I could go either way.
That makes me wonder what's happened there. It makes me wonder if John was one of the women that Mick Hucknall has apologised to.
Not accepted the apology.
Yeah.
Well, that could be either I really like it, but I don't want to say it in public and ruin my image, or it could be I'm going to slander this man so badly that I can't say it in public.
That makes sense. Beat Rehab have been in touch as well. And they said,
shout out Beat Rehab.
And they said, I heard the stat that 1 in 2 households in the UK owned a copy. Could be bollocks. Great podcast.
Oh, well. I mean, some of that is definitely true. We are a great podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Other albums released this week. And here we fucking go, mate, right?
Okay, let's do it.
Like I said, I think last week, when we did the Nirvana one, we looked at it in the week that it charted, right? But it was released the week before that, obviously, and there are another few albums released on the exact same day that are just starting to chart now, right?
Okay.
Starting this week. So I've kept them for this week where we're discussing, rather than day of release. The fucking same day as Nevermind came out.
Yeah.
You've got Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic.
What?
Yeah, that charted this week, went in at 25.
Okay.
That came out the same day. Tribe Called Quest, Low End Theory. Went into the charts at 58.
The same day as Nirvana?
Same day as Nevermind. Orbital, Green Album.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, one that isn't here because it didn't chart, but I'm pretty sure Soundgarden's Bad Motorfinger came out the same day as Nevermind.
Fucking Christ.
I know. So yeah, those so far. Other ones that are in the charts, Ugly Kid Joe, As Ugly as They Want to Be.
Nice.
Yeah, that's in there. 9 Inch Nails' Pretty Hate Machine went into the charts at 67. We discussed this. Like, that's 2 years after release.
Yeah.
But something must have happened.
Something must have happened.
Yeah, there's a marketing campaign.
Something got it started.
Something. Yeah, nice. The Levelers, Leveling the Land, in at number 14. Ozzy Osbourne's No More Tears.
Great record.
Yeah, I don't know that at all.
No More Tears.
In at 17. Hijack's Horns of Jericho.
Oh my God, what a tune Horns of Jericho
mate,
is.
That album is solid. That is some of the best.
Yeah, Horns of Jericho, what a good tune. Hijack, affiliated with Ice-T's Rhyme Syndicate.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, he seemed to be kind of one of their main fans, wasn't he?
Here's a really, really weird story. Right?
Yes.
Okay, this is a side note, but years and years ago, right? Everlast,
yes,
the hip hop artist, did was a member of the Rhyme Syndicate for a while.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, pre House of Pain.
Was he? Okay.
And I was staying around my friend Drew's house, and we were going to go out car boot record shopping the next morning. And I woke up and I told him, this is fucking completely true story. I had a weird dream about a hip hop version of My Sharona, right? I went out record shopping and I found a track, and I can't remember what the name of the track is, but it was by Everlast, and it was a hip hop track that sampled My Sharona.
All right.
Fucking next day.
That's weird.
That's really weird.
That's bizarre, but I mean, in terms of hip hop tracks that sample My Sharona, Run DMC, it's tricky.
Yeah, but I don't think I knew that at the time. I don't think I'd put that together.
Ah.
But yeah, but like with the big hook in it and stuff. Yeah.
How I it? Fucking hell.
Crazy, right?
You're a psychic, Dave.
Well, yeah, it's a coincidence, my friend. But anyway, okay, wow, what a set of albums.
No, totally, man. Just think of that, right? This week you got Blood Sugar Sex Magic, Low End Theory, Pretty Hate Machine, Orbital's Green Album. That is a solid week.
I mean, I think we're probably going to be talking about some of these records in our end of the year specials.
I think that's very, very likely indeed.
Yeah.
And Public Enemy's Apocalypse 91 in number 8, that's really fucking good this week. Especially, we've had a couple of weeks, well, last week or whatever it was, where the Bryan Adams one, where it was just Nirvana. Fair enough, that's massive.
Yeah.
But that's all there was that charted that week.
Sure.
So it's nice to see this really big week. But yeah, that's all I've got, really.
Okay,
that's
well, I mean, you say that's all you've got.
Well, indeed. I've spoiled people with that.
Whatever it is the Chili Peppers have become now, Fuck Me, Blood Sugar Sex Magic was an important record to me growing up.
Hugely.
I mean, it just
it blew me away.
Yeah, it was like, these guys are the best, and nothing makes me sadder than what they've become.
I put this into the playlist just because I thought, fuck it, this still gets me excited.
I knew it was going to give it away.
That is
Listen to that,
just amazing. So good.
1, 2, 3, 4. What I got, you gotta
man.
get it. Oh my god, man!
So good.
So good.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you got that for the Chili Peppers and Tribe Called Quest. Yeah, again, I picked this one off it as a big single. Scenario off this album, just ridiculously good.
Here we go, yo. So what? I mean, this is the track that essentially introduced the world to Busta Rhymes
Indeed, yeah.
properly.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, that kind of rah rah like a dungeon
dragon.
Probably just one of my favourite ever lines in hip hop.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Like, absolutely, just fucking.
And like, no one else was doing his style. You know?
Rah rah all over the track, man.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
As
so
I come
good.
back. So yeah, fucking brilliant. But we might as well get back into Simply Red, I guess.
Yes, let's do it. Track number 4 is called Your Mirror.
This was the final single. It's the 5th single.
Okay.
In July 92. So again, a good while after the album came out. Got to number 17.
So kind of sparse.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very definite sound in the verse that they're going for, which is, like you say, it's more sparse and harder edge to it. Yeah, but then it goes into this chorus.
So this chorus, look, man, I fucking really like this chorus.
Yeah,
I think the Bird song's a bit much.
yeah, that doesn't need to be. I said the exact same thing. Yeah. Fuck that off. But bam,
That's
chorus, really good.
That vocal line, that chorus is delightful. I really like this one.
Yeah,
it might be the one I like the most so far.
Oh, really?
I really like it. I mean, they ladle on the cheese, right?
Oh,
but
sure.
at this point, I'm kind of getting into it. I mean, you've got those kind of, that kind of Barry White,
okay, sure.
A bit of that in there. I mean, I haven't got a fucking clue what he's going on about. The lyrics are pretty nonsense.
Oh, well, no, I think the lyrics are actually dead nice in this one, because it's the verses, like I say, where it's the harder edge to it, and it's a bit colder. They are about how someone can feel being looked at by the rest of the world, and life is hard, and you have to struggle sometimes. And I know that it's tough for you, but you keep going because you have to. And then into the chorus where he's saying, but if you can take a step back and just remember how amazingly beautiful and fantastic you are, look in the mirror, let the rest of the world fall away because you're so special. And back into the verse where it's like, oh, but yeah, and you have to do this, and this is what happens, and oh God, blah, blah, blah. But then the chorus keeps coming back and going, but hey, you're fucking brilliant.
You're so brilliant, I'm going to fuck 2 other women today.
They're brilliant too, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, they're all brilliant.
They're so brilliant.
Have you seen Fight Club? You're a unique snowflake.
Yeah, indeed.
I think this is a great.
I think it's a
great song. Yeah,
I really like the way that it goes into the chorus. That the pause, the stretching it out, and then the boom.
And that vocal, it's wrong. It's.
It works really well.
I'm hating myself more and more with each song, but I do like that one. I can't fuck with it.
And this is another one where I suspect there were a lot of couples who have this as their song. On those radio stations that we mentioned earlier, that sort of shit.
I think there was a lot of first dances on this record.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh yeah. Can you dedicate this one to Sharon, please?
Yeah.
This is our song.
I mean, it would be a Sharon, wouldn't it?
Of course.
Cool.
Yeah. No, I can't fault it. Track 5.
Okay, track 5. It's called She's Got It Bad. Do you have the first thought that I did? Is it AIDS?
3,000.
3,000
people in it, yeah.
He must have had a few doses.
Oh, God. Or at least, a scare every couple of weeks.
Now, this one, to me, sounds like, like when you end up, you're out with a group of people, and you end up at the club that's open, and it's the most... you're at the Funky Fish Club or something like that, and there's a live band, right? This sounds like any nightclub funky soul band to me.
Okay, yeah. It's a bit G-Love and Special Sauce at times for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, but like without the tongue-in-cheekness you get with G-Love.
But the thing is, I really like the drums and bass on this are good. Not so keen on the vocal.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one's okay. I'm not really a fan of this one. This is... there's some fucking ridiculous lyrics on this.
Yes, there really are.
Festival of Heartache. Miss Executive Desperation.
I wasn't entirely sure who the she is supposed to be about.
Haven't got a fucking clue, mate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it feels like some of these songs are cut and paste together.
Possibly, but like you're saying, those lines about the Festival of Heartache, Miss Executive Desperation, you only suck the blood that's spilled, your macho imitation femininity is killed, I pray that you feel no pain, only if it helps you learn. It sounds like he's about, I don't know, a really cold-hearted businesswoman who fucks people over.
Yeah, that's what I got, I guess. But
I was like, is it about Thatcher?
Maybe. I mean, there's a song about Thatcher on there.
Yeah, that's why I wondered, is there another bit? But I don't know. I don't know what it's about entirely. But I do give it... I think if you, again, took the drums and the bass there, that's a decent sample. You could build something on that.
What are the play me what you like in the drum and the bass, because I didn't make a note of that. And
it's just kind of... I'll put it back to the start here.
I mean, it's a nicely produced drum sound. It's very much a kind of James Brown drum sound.
Right, yeah, definitely. Boom, boom, ba-dum. Boom, boom, ba-dum. I think that little lick as well, that's fine.
Yeah, sure. I can see you can have that song back, but when you put the song on top of it, that's not enough for me.
No, fair enough. No, I think this vocal of his doesn't do it for me at all.
No,
it's a bit laboured.
Yeah.
It's the first time we've seen this kind of very acid jazzy, middle of the road stuff that they're trying out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think tried a little bit of that.
I think we've certainly seen some precursors of acid jazz coming through, and this is
it's a bit, this is I've heard the brand new heavies are quite cool. Let's try that.
Yeah, waiting for Jamiroquai to drop.
Yeah, precisely. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of that one, to be honest. It's all right, but nowhere close to any of my favourite ones.
Okay, so let's have track number 6, which is called For Your Babies, which was a single as well, wasn't it?
It was, yes.
Third single?
Precisely, yeah. This was the third single. It was released in January 92, and it got to number 9. So it was another, big-ish hit. And I remember this... Well, I remember that little guitar line very well.
Spanish guitar?
Yeah.
Go on, Queen.
Yeah. But I remember at the time really taking against this one, because this, I thought, this is blam nonsense.
Yeah.
I turned the radio off, this came on, sort of shit.
Yeah, for sure. I'd have been the same.
Yeah.
So it's a slow jam.
Yep.
But that's quite a pretty vocal melody.
Again, his voice is nice on this.
That's nicely instrumented.
Yeah. And I think it's got some really nice sentiments in the vocals as well, and the lyrics.
Yeah. I mean, it's the soul funk, I'd do anything for love. But I won't do that.
Oh.
I'd do most anything.
Again, a memorable chorus.
Yeah, it's catchy, man. Yeah. It is catchy. I mean, I tell you what, though, you say there's nice sentiments. What it does make me wonder. The lyrics that he writes, it makes me wonder how outlandish his chat-up lines are. Because look at some of the stuff he's saying it's like,
this is not a chat-up song.
I mean, he's saying nice things to a woman in this song.
He wrote this for his friends who were having babies.
Did he?
Yeah. This is about the friends of his and them becoming parents, because he didn't have a kid at this point.
Okay.
And he was saying, I'm so happy for you.
I mean, maybe I've just read it wrong. Maybe I've got a real blind spot to read in his... Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that does make sense. Yeah. I'll totally disregard what I've said here. But all right. Yeah. Fair enough. I'll take that back. I'm an idiot.
Okay. Yeah. The opening lines like, her faith is amazing. The pain she goes through contained in the hope for you. Your whole world has changed. The years spent before seem more cloudy than blue. It's about, you've had a baby now. You're a different person, and I'm so happy for you. Like, he wouldn't have a kid for 15 years after he wrote this, but he was at the age where his bandmates were and his friends were, and so he wrote this song for them.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of his were being, kind of aborted.
Well, indeed, yeah, 3,000 potentials. To be honest, I think I probably like the words more than the tune in this one. It's a little bit too saccharine for me.
Yeah, I mean, I like the chorus.
Yeah,
I think it's I think it's very well put together.
Oh yes.
I mean, I'm not going to be hurrying back to this. This is not my oeuvre, but for what it is, whereas whereas again, going back to something like Alita Adams or the Christians, not my thing, but I didn't see the craft in it either. I was just like, what's the point in this? I don't get it. Who's it for? I don't see this hitting those beats. Whereas, you know, I recognise this as a great pop song, but not a pop song that I'm going to be buying.
No, not at all.
You know?
Of course not. But definitely this was, like I say, single 3, number 9. This resonated with radio and the public to a big extent as well.
Sure.
This was a really... another big spike for them. And I can see that it is, you know, whether or not he wrote it as, oh, people are going to fucking love this, or if he just wrote it as, I want to write this nice little meaningful song to my mates. It has touched a lot of people. You can, you know, again, I watched the video for this, boring, don't bother, but the comments on it were a load of people going, I remember, you know, listening to this in 91 after I had my, you know, my little ones and that sort of shit. It really did resonate.
Sure. And, you know, and that's, you know, stuff that hits broadly is, you know.
Yeah, that's where you're going.
You know, that's, you know, just because you're basic enough that this affects you personally, that's, you know, that's good for you.
For sure.
Look, okay, so let's do track number 7. This one's called Model.
Yes.
Oh, for fuck's sake, it's gone reggae.
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
You knew there was something that had been missing up to now. I thought we'd passed the point of the unnecessary reggae in an album.
Yeah,
There's loads in 1990s ones. But yeah.
I mean, look, that guitar almost sounds like a wobble board.
God.
I mean, they've tried to do dub as dinner funk here, haven't they?
Yeah, this is very coffee table.
Yeah. I don't think this works at all.
I think it's terrible.
Yeah, absolutely terrible.
Really terrible. But, you know, that's with the caveat that I don't like reggae in general. So I'm not being I cannot be the person to say whether this is good or not. But in terms of a tune that I like, I think it's just crap.
Yeah, I mean, it's got eat an alligator for dinner.
Yeah.
Are ya? Pretty Little Girls. Leave it out, Prince Andrew.
Yeah, well, yes. It's a very weirdly specific song.
Yeah.
I don't know why he wrote the song. Because I was like, oh, it's called Model. Maybe it's just about, you know, attractive women or whatever. It seems to be very specifically about models.
I mean, you know, if you're banging 3 women a day, then maybe you've got.
I bet he went through a lot.
You've got a whole section on models specifically. You know, there's probably another song he wrote about farmers.
Oh, I'd like to hear that one.
If you're creating the numbers, mate, do you know what I
hope
mean?
that one was done in a kind of a Wurzel style as well.
Yeah. This is a song I've written about people that work in the insurance industry.
Oh fuck! That's a whole slew of albums, online albums only.
Mick Hucknall's Little Black Book. Yeah.
But lines in this, like looking at yourself in the mirror, baby, telling yourself to be up this morning, holding in your hand another mirror, baby, 1 or 2 lines for confidence. So it really is specifically about models and how they have to do a lot of drugs to get through the day and to stay skinny and be relevant.
And have sex with Mick Hucknall.
Yeah, you do need a lot of drugs.
I would need a lot of drugs.
I
need all the drugs.
And a blindfold.
Yeah.
And possibly restraints.
And to be dead.
But it's a bizarre one. It talks about aging taking you down because it's such a cruel business. There's always someone younger and prettier coming through to take your place. It's a weird topic for a song.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, I guess if you're friends with a lot of models, you see their plight and you're like, oh yeah, your life is more difficult than I thought it would be.
Let me talk about it in a reggae style.
Yeah, exactly. Boom ting.
Yeah. Nah, I think this is nonsense, this one.
Rubbish.
Not a fan. Right, we are, you know, speeding through this album. We're now kind of 2/3 in. So let's take a quick break and do some singles, yeah?
Let's do it.
All right, so your top 10. There's not a lot of new stuff in here, if I'm honest.
Cool.
Number 10, Rosalla, Everybody's Free. Number 9, Erasure, Love to Hate You. Number 8, Salt and Pepper, Let's Talk About Sex. 7, Julian Lennon, Saltwater. Number 6 is a new entry, though. Number 6, you're going to know this one, because this was huge.
You ready for this?
Yes, indeed. 2 Unlimited, get ready for this. I bought that at the time because I was buying lots of shit.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure... No, I think I liked this one, but then when No Limit came out, I was like, all right, no, I'm not having this. Can't deal. But that was a big tune. That was you know, all over the place. Number 5, Oceanic Insanity. Yep. Number 4, Kiri Dekanawa with World in Union.
Oh, fuck.
Do you remember that?
I mean,
For the rugby, whatever it was.
Yeah, I kind of remember the name.
It's a world in union.
We don't need to hear it.
No, absolutely not. Number 3, and I remember this being released, I'm thinking, it was a joke that went too far, actually releasing this as a single. I'm pretty sure it was Simon Mayo who started playing this on his breakfast show.
Yeah.
And it suddenly got huge traction. This went in at number 3.
Well, you know why this is? This is because I remember because I'd have been last year at high school, and they aired this on British TV for the first time because the ban on it was lifted.
What, the song?
No, the film Left Brian.
Oh, I see.
So it sort of coincided with that, yeah.
Okay, well, that does make sense. I just remember it starting to get played on Radio 1 as kind of a novelty thing. In the same way that Simon Mayo started playing Donald, Where's Your Trousers, and that got released as a single. He started playing this, always looking the bright side of life, and suddenly it was a hit. But yeah, number 3.
I bet when it was shown in the BBC, I bet it or whenever it was, Channel 4, I bet you still couldn't get it in Northern Ireland.
Oh, no, there would have been uproar, mate. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is The Scorpions' Wind of Change, and number 1 is still Bryan Adams, Everything I Do. Other stuff that came out in this kind of couple of weeks that we're looking at, I mean, we've already talked about the album a little bit, but number 22 in the singles chart, Public Enemy's Can't Trust It.
Here come the drums.
I love that. That's just a big old fucking drum beat. Here come the drums.
Yes.
Exactly. Flav going a little bit weird over the top of it. Chuck keeping it serious.
What's the track it sounds a lot like from
Bass in your face.
There's a track from Fear of Black Planet that sounds a lot like that. Oh no! I tell you what, it just sounds a little bit like Fight the Power, doesn't it?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see the horn in that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, a little bit. Number 29 in the charts. I'm not going to bother playing this, but I don't even remember it. Morrissey's My Love Life. He had a single called My Love Life. Do you remember anything about that?
I fucking hate Morrissey.
Oh, indeed. But
I don't remember it at all, mate.
No.
I've kind of always had a disdain for Morrissey, to the point that it took a long while for me to accept that any of the Smith songs were good.
I see. Okay,
Yeah.
You had to get past that hurdle.
Yeah.
There are a couple further down the charts, just in terms of stuff, little movements or whatever that are happening. Lush are in at 43 with Nothing Natural.
Okay.
And Chapter House are in at 60 with Mesmerise. So you got a little bit of shoegaze coming through
Okay,
at this
coming
point.
through.
Yep. And also Mega City 4 with Words That Say are at 66. And Cud are at 49 with Oh No Won't Do.
Fair enough.
Which is basically, our good friend Cy Sharp's, teenage
Oof,
years.
yeah. Basically him on his
Cud and Mega City 4.
him on his motorbike.
Yes, indeed. If only 8 were in there as well, I think that would be the trilogy for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an album that came out I didn't mention before. Kingmaker's Eat Yourself Whole was out this week as well. Nice. I suspect that's another one for Cy.
Eat your own hole.
I do try. But yeah, there's your singles. Nothing really spectacular in that one, I must admit. Okay, so yeah, back into the last few tracks of Simply Red then.
Okay, so this one is called How Could I Fall?
How could I fall for someone so superficial?
Hold tight. How could I fall for someone so superficial? Are you taking the fucking piss? What are you, fucking Descartes?
Yeah, come on, mate.
Okay, so
The man that'll fuck anything and releases songs that sound like this.
So we're into Plinky Jazz. The sax is going for a walk right now.
Yeah, I mean, opening with a sax solo is a brave move.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected that.
No. I mean, it's dull so far, truth be told.
Very, very.
Plink.
Yeah. This, I can imagine them live, looking like they're very, very serious.
Oh, someone's pulling some faces to this shit.
Funny how the things
But yeah, what is this? This is just light jazz nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, vocals pretty enough.
That's fine, but
yeah, this.
there's no hook to this.
No, it's dragged on for me, this one a lot.
Yeah, I think this is by far kind of the blandest one so far, because there's nothing else to lift it. There's no big chorus. There's no riff that you go, oh well, there you go. That's your pop. This is just a load of grey dullness for me.
Absolutely. And, I don't think this, I think they obviously, they like a bit of jazz, but this is jazz at its most bland.
It really is.
Yeah.
And I would almost understand if this were a 15-track album and I just chuck this on. This is a 10-track album. This is a tight album, I don't understand why they've put one song on here, which is 4 minutes or whatever of this shit.
No, I don't think they needed it. It's not for me. I think it's a misstep on the album overall.
Even though there's a second sax solo that comes in about 4 minutes, they're really going for it.
Yeah.
Maybe the sax player wrote this, I don't know.
I mean, that sounds likely.
Yeah. But no, I think, like you said, I think it's a misstep. The lyrics are about a breakup. It's just trite, dull shit that he's talking about. The piano line is horrible. Don't like the instrumentation.
No.
Don't like the whole feel of this.
No, don't like anything about this,
Nah.
really. Drags. As I said, don't like anything about it. I think there's some pretty vocal touches in there, but not enough to carry this over. So it's a no from me.
Definitely no. I'll skip that one every time. So number 9.
Freedom.
This one features additional vocals from Rowetta, who was in Happy Mondays.
Oh, nice. And on The X Factor.
Oh, yes, she was.
So it's quite a nice funky start. We've got a bit of a kind of James Brown...
There's a James Brown scream there.
There you go.
Here's a few samples pop up from JB. That's some slap bass in the background.
So it's dramatic.
Yeah. Again, another one down the funk orientated, but perhaps this might be what we talked about, the drummer coming in and having his influence on stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's mostly instrumental, this one.
Yeah.
It's got some nice little instrumental moments, and it's got that kind of big kind of vocal refrain that comes in from time to time.
The how long thing.
Yeah.
That bit.
This felt a bit redundant to me as well, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah. But I think because it's kind of like a protesty song.
Yeah.
But the How Long just sounds like it's going to go into the song How Long by Ace.
Yeah.
It's very, sparks that off for me. The freedom to win, blah, blah, blah. It's about when are we going to, get what we need? When are we going to, break through? When are people going to start listening? This sort of shit. Freedom. But then, why has he done this? Why is there pan pipes? Why do you do a pan pipe bit in a protest song?
I don't know.
That's the least funky instrument you can have. I'm pretty sure. Apart from maybe a wobble board, but that's really bizarre.
Again, that seems to me like a gratuitous album track which shouldn't be in here.
This sounds to me like what our friend John Fisher once referred to as an introduction song. This is, you're on stage and you go, ladies and gentlemen, on drums.
Yes.
Bam. Ladies and gentlemen, on trombone, etc.
Absolutely.
It's one of those.
That makes sense. You don't have to put it on an album, though.
You really do not. No, leave it for the live shows.
So, okay.
And if you're honest, leave it to the live shows, when people need a piss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't really get that. It doesn't fit with me.
No, it's kind of a political statement-y one, but it doesn't sound like it's very angry or achieving anything.
No, again, I'm not really sure what you're getting at, mate.
No.
So last track on this album is called Wonderland.
Wonderland, here we are.
Okay, so we're back in slow jam territory.
Yeah. And this wasn't a single, but I'm sure I remember this.
Maybe.
I don't know why I would, because I would, unless it was like whenever we were HMV and it was being played then.
Don't know.
But
I wouldn't have been playing 8 years later, surely.
Christmas, I don't know. But yeah, for some reason, I'm sure I have heard this before.
It's got that kind of weird thing where it's kind of at the same time melancholic and uplifting.
Okay. Uh-huh.
It's cool,
REM do that very well.
Yeah, they do. And this is quite pretty. I think that this deep vocal here, that's a bit much for me. Is that him?
No, that's the keyboard player again.
Right, okay.
That's the yes, I would. That's him.
Yeah, I just think that's a very good vocal that he does here. It feels like forced.
Okay. It's very different to Hucknall's voice.
Yeah. It sounds, I don't know.
I don't mind the vocal, I must admit, but I think it's a pretty bland song.
It's again, it's not a terrible song. It's very filler. I mean,
there's something to it because I'm sure I've heard this.
Yeah, There is something to it. There's a hook to it. It's not completely. It's of the last 3 tracks. It's the best of the last 3 tracks.
Oh, definitely that.
But it's a bit of an ignominious way to end a record.
Sure. Yeah.
And I think from starting off with this and being very surprised at how much I liked it, I don't think it was able to sustain it. And I don't know whether that was me kind of going like, all right, well, I can appreciate the songwriting for so long and then I've had enough of it.
Okay.
And I don't think it was that, because I gave it a few listens. I just do think it is the back end of this album is just nowhere near as good as
I
the
think
early
it's
part.
very front-loaded.
Yeah, I think so.
That.
I mean, for me, up to the point that we get into these last 3 tracks, there are, 2 that I don't like.
Yeah.
And then the other 5, I like to varying degrees.
Okay.
But these last 3, I don't really like.
Okay, I mean, I would say there are 2 that I really don't like on here, and those are Model, the reggae one, and How Could I Fall, which is the one that starts with the sax solo. I really dislike them. I think they're bad songs.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I only really dislike Model. The rest I'm like, ugh, don't care.
Okay.
I mean, the jazzy one, it is the same. I mean, I didn't particularly get on with that one that She Got It Bad, the one that you quite like the drum
I think
bass
there's
on.
something again. No, that would be at the bottom of my pile, but I think there's something to it. Yeah.
But I mean, overall, as an album, I got a lot more out of it than I expected to.
Yeah, genuinely surprised.
Genuinely surprised that there's as much craft on this as there is. Right, certainly. My opinion that they were the absolute enemy of everything. That was, that's gone, right?
Okay.
Am I going to go back to this album? Absolutely not.
Right.
But I'm probably going to stick Something Got Me Started into my best pop compilation.
I'm putting that into a couple of playlists of mine because like literally over the past couple of days, whenever I've been listening to this, either in the background or for actually making notes on it, I have skipped back and played that one again.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good tune.
Yeah.
It's a good tune. It's an undeniably good tune.
So I'm very happy I've sort of refined that.
And I must admit, I really enjoyed. I've forgotten what it's called now. I really enjoyed Your Mirror as well.
Yep.
And was amazed that I didn't dislike Stars.
Sure. Yeah.
And I found something quite funny about Thrill Me as well.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I think the biggest surprise for me was that I didn't hate this.
Yeah, me too.
I was so sure that I was just going to go, all right, we're going to fucking slate another album. Here we go. This is going to, here's your genre bias coming through because it's Simply Red.
Yeah.
Did not happen.
Yeah,
No.
that's where I was at. That's because we saw each other in the pub on Friday, and I'd already started listening to this then.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to talk to you about this because I was like, I put it on in the car, right, and I was in quite a good mood, right. I'd come out, I'd had quite a nice gig. I was driving back from Reading, and I put this on, and I was like, not that I don't hate this, I quite like this.
Yeah.
And there you go. I mean, like I say, it doesn't sustain through for the whole record. I think, I think anyone trying to claim this is a complete classic record would have some questions to answer.
Definitely.
But yeah, I mean, much better than I expected.
Much better than I expected, and I can see why it was such a big album because,
sure,
even us going, oh, I can't believe I like this. That must mean surely that people who are into middle of the road pop stuff, or middle of the road, soul ballads or whatever, they must have thought this was manna from heaven.
Sure.
Yeah.
As always, we have to find between 1 and 3 songs to put on our playlist.
Indeed. And if you haven't listened to the playlist, basically what we're doing is we're adding songs from every single album that was number 1 that we're listening to and talking about to form a playlist of kind of what was happening in these albums in the 1990s. Yeah,
so I mean, no matter how much we hated the album, we have to find 1 song from it. If we really like an album, we can go to up to 3. It can never be any more than 3.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we are both straight away, we're going to go with Something Got Me Started.
Absolutely. That was, 100% always going to happen with me.
That's
Definitely.
Without a question. Okay.
Without a question.
What's your second favourite song on here?
Second favourite? It would be between For Your Babies and Your Mirror.
Okay, well, Your Mirror is my favourite of those.
Right.
I mean, if you want, we can go with all 3 of those tracks.
I don't think we need to do 3.
But I mean, I would, of those 2, I would go Your Mirror.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm fine doing that then. If you want to do Something Got Me Started and Your Mirror, we'll put those on. Great. Jolly good. I'm amazed we're putting more than 1 on.
I am as well.
I would have said, 2 weeks ago before I was getting started on this, I bet you we struggle to find one.
I mean, we've joked about this one as one that's coming up that we were kind of dreading.
We have.
And I was expecting this to be a slate. And I've had our friend Jackie has been on Twitter saying, I think this is one I'm going to have to skip. But you know what? This is the point of the podcast.
Yeah, man.
This is the point of the podcast. It's to go back and find this stuff and to see where you go, right? And yeah,
I think we said we're going back to see if we missed anything at the time. And we did.
Yeah.
On this one, we did missed a couple of bits.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us know if you think we've lost our fucking minds. Get in contact in all the usual social media places. Do if you're new to the podcast, do follow us on Instagram and Facebook and all of those things. We're trying to be better at putting content up there.
We do our best
Every now, but we're both working, and it's it takes a lot of time.
Exactly.
I say we're working. I'm trying to run events, but anyway, guys, you've been amazing. Thank you for listening to us, and we will see you again next week.
Thank you for joining us. Bye. Thank you for checking out this episode of Pop Collaborate and Listen. It was produced and edited by us, for which we can only apologise. We're on Twitter at PCL Podcast, on Instagram also at PCL Podcast, and facebook.com/PCL Podcast. All of these, plus links to our various Spotify playlists, etc., are on our website, which is pclpodcast.com. Please feel free to get in contact via any of the social media or on pclmusicpodcast@gmail.com.